I want to give all praises to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahawashi, for giving me the spirit to do this video. Let's jump right to it. 1 John chapter 3, starting at verse 20. For if our heart condemn us, Yahweh is greater than our heart, and knoweth all things. Beloved, if our heart condemn us not, then have we confidence towards Yahweh Yahawashi. Now this lesson is going into, if Yahawashi came today, would you have the confidence? Okay? Would you have the confidence to make it out of here? Or are you sitting around, eyeballs going to the left, going to the right, because you're nervous, because you really don't have the faith and you really don't have the confidence, because you're not putting in the work? Okay? If you feel that way, that means you need to step up your work, man, because you're not ready to get out of here, man. Okay? So take the grace that Yahawashi has given us to get yourself together. That's what this lesson is going into. All right? From there, let's go to 2 Corinthians chapter 13, verse 5. Examine yourselves, whether you be in the faith. Prove your own selves. Know you not your own selves, how that Yahawashi is in you, except you be reprobates? Okay, you have to prove your own self and examine yourselves. Okay? You do have to ask yourself that question day in and day out. If the Lord came today, would I have the confidence, man? You have to ask yourself these things, because that's part of you examining yourselves, as the scripture says. Okay? Now let's go into the blue letter on reprobate.
Strong's G96, adakimas, adakimas.
Not standing the test, not approved. That which does not prove itself such as it ought. Unfit for, unproved, reprobate. Okay? Let me read this one again. That which does not prove itself such as it ought. And that's why if you're asked that question and you get all nervous and fluttery and you don't know what to think and you're just so unsure, that means you ain't doing what you ought to do, man. That means you're not really proving yourselves and denying yourself, okay, and bearing that cross, all right? That means whatever measure you got, you know you got it, and you ain't doing nothing with it. We all have to think about these things, man, because if that question makes you nervous, all right, you think you're going to gain all this confidence and strength and faith when the Lord come back if you ain't changed nothing? No, you got to examine yourself to step your game up, man. Prove yourselves to Yahawashi Yahawashi. From there, let's go to Galatians chapter 6, verse 4. But let every man prove his own work, and then shall he have rejoicing in himself alone and not in another. Right. You got to prove your own self, man. Okay? We know we're going to rejoice when other brothers doing the right thing because we're a body. Okay, we're one. But as an individual, you have to work out your own salvation with fear and trembling. Meaning you're supposed to be able to look at yourself, okay, and rejoice in what? That you're doing the work. Rejoice that you have comfort. Rejoice that you have better sleep when you lay down. Why? Because you did a video, you did a lesson, you're feeding, like the Lord say, if you love me, feed my sheep, and you're doing these things. So when that individual that's doing that, if he gets asked that question, hey, if the Lord came back today, do you have the confidence that you're getting out of here? Do you have the faith? Okay. He's more likely to have the faith than the guy who just really ain't really doing nothing. He's the one eyeballs going left and right when that question is asked, trying to see how every other brother's looking. No, man. What about yourself? All right? Once again, we got to examine ourselves. Now let's go into the blue letter on prove.
Strong's G 1381, dakimadzo, dakimadzo.
To test, examine, prove, scrutinize. You got to scrutinize your own self, man. You got to be your hardest critic. You got to admit to yourself, man, I didn't feel too right when I heard that question. And go home and say, what's going on with myself? Why do I feel this way? Why wasn't I cheerful when I heard that question? Okay? Because your confidence needs some work. Your faith needs some work. You need to be built up. Okay? That's why. Because I'm going to say this. If someone asks you that question and you're not excited, okay, and have that confidence and ready for the Lord to come back now, you got some work to do, man. That's not a good spirit to have, all right? It says to see whether a thing is genuine or not. to recognize as genuine after examination, to approve, deem worthy, to deem worthy, man. And that's not putting yourself above what you ought. That's just your faith within yourself. Because why? You know you're doing the work. Okay? And how comfortable is that feeling? How much of a comfort is that for you day in and day out if you are doing these things? Doing the will, man. You'll abide forever. As the scripture says. Illuminated. All right? From there, let's go to Luke chapter 21, verse 36. Watch ye therefore and pray always, that ye may be accounted worthy. Look at that worthy again. Okay? And how do you make sure you're accounted worthy? By examining yourselves, man. Okay? Being ready day in and day out. Why do you think it says evil it is the day thereof in front of you, man? Okay? The evil is heavy in that one day. Why? Because you got to worry about that one day. Because the Lord can come that day. He can come the next day. He can come the next day, which is why you got to worry about your day to day and not think too far off. Okay? Because the evil is on you, man. The war is around you, okay? In your face. So it says that ye may be accounted worthy to escape all these things that shall come to pass and to stand before the Son of Man. To be counted worthy to stand. And that's the question. If the Lord showed up today, would you be able to stand? Do you have the confidence that you're going to be able to stand? All right? From there, let's go to 1 Corinthians chapter 11, starting at verse 27. Wherefore, whosoever shall eat this bread and drink this cup of the Lord unworthily shall be guilty of the body and the blood of Yahawashi. But let a man examine himself, and so let him eat of that bread and drink of that cup. Examine yourselves, man. Okay, while you're in this work, doing the will, claiming to be a prophet, you have to examine yourself. Verse 29, for he that eateth and drinketh unworthily, meaning you're doing the work in vain, okay, eateth and drinketh damnation to himself, not discerning Yahawashi's body. Right. Okay. And that's why a lot of these guys in these other camps, the Lord gonna say, I know you're not. They're gonna say, Lord, Lord, haven't we did this? Haven't we did that? Okay. But those guys are gonna do it to their damnation because why? They don't want to take correction. They're not discerning the truth of the matter, the full truth. Not 85%, not 70%, but the full truth. Okay, so when you come to serve the Lord, okay, to eat that bread, to drink that cup, like the Lord is talking about now, you got to be able to examine yourself to make sure that you're eating and drinking that cup worthily and not unworthily. And that takes examination, meaning you got to be humble and meek to say, you know what? I don't got it like that. I need to watch myself to make sure I'm on point day in and day out, period. From there, let's go to Ezekiel chapter 18, starting at verse 27. Again, when the wicked man turneth away from his wickedness that he hath committed, and do that which is lawful and right, he shall save his own soul. Because he considered, he examined, okay, that's what it means, he considered, he examined, and turned away from all his transgressions that he hath committed, he shall surely live, he shall not die. And that's what it talks about when it says about if your right eye offend thee, cut it off, etc., right? You have to consider, you have to examine. So whatever it is that's stopping you from having that hope and faith that if he came today, you will get out of here, okay, you need to fix it, okay, while the Lord is giving you grace to fix it. Because when the lights start flicking, it's too late, man, okay? Don't be one of those foolish servants trying to go buy oil from the servants that got the oil, because you ain't going to get none, all right? Last scripture, Sirach chapter 18, verse 20. Before judgment, examine thyself, and in the day of visitation, thou shalt find mercy. And that's what we want, man. We want mercy. We want the Lord to look down, Yahawashi to look down and say, you know what, I'm going to have mercy on you. I'm going to save you. You ain't got to taste this second death. It's destruction. It's fire. All these tribulations, Jacob's trouble, which is going to be crazy, man. It's going to be insane. And you don't want to get caught up on all that. All right? But if you don't have the confidence, when that question is asked to you, man, there's a chance you are going to get caught up in that. So if you know that's you and you get all nervous about that question, come on, man. Do what you got to do. This is about exhorting the brothers. okay? Exhorting you, pushing you, poking you, okay? Doing whatever we need to do to build each other up to do what? To get that confidence. Because when the light starts flicking, it's over, all right? I want to give all praises to Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahawashi. You give me the spirit to do this video. Double honors to the elders of Great Millstone, and shalom to your Akamite that is doing the truth and sincerity. Examine yourselves, Akim. Shalom.